What's up, basketball fans? Welcome to the Raptors Report. We're going to be going live for a little while, anyways, for free agency. As most of you guys know, the Toronto Raptors have not done anything yet, but could that change? Absolutely. I'm just going to keep kind of refreshing Shams Charania to go, and see if they've done anything. The latest signing has been that free agent sharpshooter Luke Kennard has agreed to a 1-year, $11 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, pretty good deal. And obviously, Atlanta Hawks are doing a lot today, but I'm going to break it down from the very beginning. Everything that Shams has reported from, since free agency has started. We'll also talk about the Denver Nuggets making a big trade. And you know what? I'll keep refreshing kind of just to see if we get new signings along the way as well. So thank you guys for joining. All right. Oh wow, this is one I missed. Okay, so we'll start from the very beginning. I'll give you my thoughts on it. I'll give it a grade as well. So let's see here. I guess the earliest news here we got is the Memphis Grizzlies extended Jaren Jackson Jr. Expected to sign a 5-year, $240 million deal. That's just absolutely insane. I mean, that works out close to about $49 million for Jaren Jackson. And for someone that, I like Jaren Jackson, but he cannot rebound to save his life. And these are like the kind of players that really actually hurt you, especially on the defensive side. Like you need a stop, you get a great stop, and then you just give up an offensive rebound because, the big man or whatever you want to call him, power forward, is just not getting any rebounds. He somewhat reminds me of a lot of Miles Turner, just like great shot blockers, stretch big men, if you want to call them stretch big men. And then just not very good rebounders at all. So that's a hefty price, man. That's a hefty price. Obviously, they have to do it because they don't really have any other option. I'm gonna give this a C plus, man. This signing is not going to age out really well unless they plan on signing or treating Jaren Jackson in the future. The next signing we got here is Santi Aldama agreed on a 3-year, $52.5 million deal. I mean, that's a lot of money for Santi Aldama, man. He's a role player that's coming off the bench. I believe he's like 6'11", 7 foot. Doesn't grab a ton of rebounds, get some points, and obviously the Grizzlies like him, so they brought him back. But that's a little bit of an overpay here, man. That's a little bit of an overpay. $52 million over 3 years. I mean, my math isn't great, so let me pull out the calculator here. If my math is not wrong, I think that should be close to $16.5 million. Let's see how good my math skills are. They haven't improved much over the year, so I'll say that much. $17.5 million. Okay, so yeah, 17 is a lot, man. 17 is a lot. You see like a lot of role players getting a lot less than that, and I don't know, unless the Grizzlies are one of those organizations where they kind of need to pay more to keep their own players or just bring in free agents as well. All right, next signing here, Dorian Finney-Smith leaves the leaves the LA Lakers, signs a 4-year, $53 million deal. This is approximately $14 million over the 4 years, so not too bad. I understand why the Houston Rockets did it. They lost, obviously, some defense in the trade for Kevin Durant. They had Dylan Brooks going to the Phoenix Suns there, so they wanted to kind of bring in some guy that can kind of play the power forward position, kind of play the small forward position as well. Decent signing. It's a slight overpay. I'm not going to say it's a great deal. I'd probably give that a C plus. I like Dorian Finney-Smith. Is that a little bit too much? I honestly believe so. Next signing here, free agent Paul Reed, aka Paul, as the Shams Charania described him to be, a 2-year, $11 million deal to return to the Pistons. It's a whatever deal. Like, I mean, he hasn't really proven anything. He was with the 76ers. He won the G League MVP, and then he really, with respect to him, just hasn't done anything. I'd probably give that like a C minus. Not a great deal, not a terrible deal. It's just a whatever deal. $5 million in today's NBA isn't a lot. Probably a player you can throw in a trade if you want to acquire someone that makes a lot of money. So yeah, not crazy deals. And the Grizzlies were just on a roll here because they signed Cam Spencer to a 2-year, $4.5 million deal. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what Cam Spencer has done. So let's take a look at Cam Spencer's stats here. Again, just basically just going off his stats. I know he's a role player. I believe, I could be wrong here, he could be a guard from what I recall. Yeah, he's a shooting guard. 6'3", 205 pounds, 25-year-old. How did he do with the Grizzlies? 4.2 points last season, 1.4 assists, shot the ball 36% on 2 attempts per game in only 10 minutes. That's Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. And I'm guessing he was drafted last year. Yeah, he was drafted second round, 53rd overall last year in 2024 draft. So not a bad deal. He's like a senior player, I guess, that came in. He produced 4 points in like 10 minutes. It kind of reminds me of like what Luke Kennard did with the Grizzlies. It's just someone I'm guessing just comes in and gets you a lot of buckets. I'm gonna honestly say like B. Again, I still don't know what his play style is like. I don't really watch the Grizzlies a lot, or just I don't know what Cam Spencer's game is honestly like. So we're gonna go with a B there. Again, it's not very expensive, and maybe he could put up some numbers. All right. So the Memphis Grizzlies and Cole Anthony's reps are working towards a resolution that allows Memphis to create the necessary space um, to renegotiate and extend while giving Anthony the opportunity. Okay, so I guess we haven't heard anything since, or at least I haven't. Free agent Jake LaRavia, I always butcher this guy's name. Signs a 2-year, $12 million deal with the LA Lakers. I've heard of this guy. I'm not very familiar with his name, guys. Jake. Yeah. Oh, come on. What were his stats like last season? Let's have a look. I'm also just refreshing, guys. Seems like there's no deal at the moment currently. We know Shams is always on top of things, although we did have a funny situation. Okay, there we go. So you got to be kidding me. Free agent center Mason Plumlee has agreed to a 1-year deal, 3.6 with the Charlotte Hornet. I believe his brother played with them. I could be wrong. I feel like his brother played with them. I could be completely wrong here. Gio, what's up, man? Says Raptors don't have cap space. Blake Murphy says Raptors a little bit into the tax. They won't be getting free agents. I know. I've already said this in a group chat. Like realistically, who are the Toronto Raptors going to sign? It's going to be like a G League player on the third or fourth day when pretty much most of the free agents are gone. They're going to sign him to like a 1-year, $1.7 million deal. And for those hoping that the Raptors sign a backup center, guys, it's not realistically going to happen. I was reading something on Reddit, which I did tweet out that apparently the Raptors are going to run a small ball lineup where they're going to have small ball lineup. So assuming obviously Jonathan Mogbo is probably going to play the center position. My guess is CMB is going to play the center position at times. And they actually did say that they're going to have Scotty Barnes play center position as well at times. So I don't like this like small ball lineup BS, guys. I mean, it's good in spurts, but if Jakob Poeltl gets hurt, as someone else mentioned as well, what are you going to do? Like, are we having Jonathan Mogul, Scotty Barnes, CMB rotate the center position if Jakob Poeltl gets hurt? Like, you need to have a center at least in place in case of injuries. Like you don't have to have a great one, but at least have a decent one who can play. And that's where kind of my frustration comes from, for the Toronto Raptors and just overall Bobby Webster. It's just I don't understand why he dislikes centers so much. I understand the small ball lineup stuff. It works in some matchups, it works in some scenarios, but it's not the best way of going about things. And Sean says, do you think the Raptors are actually going for Ben Simmons, or do you think his camp is just using the Raptors to raise his salary? You know what? I actually do believe they could be interested, but again, we don't have a lot of money to spend. I do want to quickly open up Raptors salary cap here as well. I don't know if it's updated, but I believe they're like at 100. I could be wrong, like 184, $185 million. Let's see if they got. Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't updated it. So right now, without any deals, without CMBs, obviously, we don't know what his contract's going to look like. But without Garrett Temple, who was our big fish, I guess. No, all jokes aside, Garrett Temple, who we brought back on $3.6 million, but apparently it doesn't count as much. It costs like something like 2.5 or something close to a veteran's minimum. So our salary is essentially going to be $184 million. The luxury tax is set at $187 million. CMB is probably going to make around $6 million, approximately close. You can move the numbers a little bit up or down. Maybe $7 million in his rookie year. So we're already into the luxury tax. My guess is that the Raptors are going to make some sort of trades to kind of free up some space. And then again, we'll see what happens. I don't think the Raptors should be in luxury tax. They're not a talented enough team to be going in the luxury tax. And oh, there we go. Taurean Prince has agreed to a 2-year, $7.1 million deal to return to the Milwaukee Bucks. Honestly, a decent deal. Not a bad deal by any means. But again, guys, I'm just kind of going through the I'm just quickly going through the list of free agents that were signed today. LaRavia. Okay, I'm going to say Jake LaRavia signed with the I'm so obsessed with the Raptors. I keep mentioning the name. He signed with the Lakers for 2 years, $12 million. A decent deal. 6'8" guy, so he's a forward. Only wow, he's only 23. I feel like he's been around, or at least it feels like he's been around for 4 or 5 seasons. But I guess not. Well, he has been around for 5 seasons, but he I guess he just, yeah, I guess he changed teams, though. That's why the stats are kind of like that. Anyways, guys, he averaged 6 points, 2.8 rebounds, 1.3 assists in 19 minutes, shot the ball 38% from 2.7 attempts per game. Not bad at all. Yeah, pretty decent signing. I'd probably give this again like a B minus. For the Lakers, they obviously need a center. They've been missing out on centers. All right, the next one we're going to is Trey Johnson here. Trey Jones, excuse me, has agreed to a 3-year, $28 million deal to return. Okay, I must be mixing him up with his brother, Trey Jones. Yeah, because this is because the other Jones was playing for the Phoenix Suns, from what I remember, and he signed with the Orlando Magic. So, oh wow, Trey Jones averaged 11.5 points, 3.2 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and shot the ball, 3-point ball, one on again, mind you, 1.2 attempts per game at 50%. But again, they played a lot of tanking games. He's only played 18 games last season in 25 minutes. But hey, if that's a lot of money, man, that's a lot of money, especially for a team that's guard heavy. I don't know if I like that deal for the Chicago Bulls. And I know, look, I'm sure he's displayed a lot of potential, with how he played. But those are tanking minutes. I don't know if you could take those kind of things seriously. And yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not really familiar with Trey Johnson. I'm not going to sit and act like I know. I'll probably give that a B minus. It's not a lot. $8 million deal to invest in a youngish guy. He's 25 years old, 6'1". Yeah, they have way too many guards, man. The Bulls have a weird obsession of having too many guards. Anyways, free agent D'Angelo Russell agreed to a 2-year, $13 million deal, deal with the Dallas Mavericks. 6.5 million. Honestly, I give that a B plus. D'Angelo Russell, guys, say what you want about him. He's a good temporary stopgap until they get Kyrie Irving back. He's also really, really decent offensively. I'm not going to say good because he always starts out the year really hot and then he kind of fades into just shooting very poor percentages as the season progresses. But they don't need him at the end of the season. They need him now. And look, $6.5 million, it's a very decent amount to be trading in a potential trade for the Dallas Mavericks. Sorry, this is the big trade of the day for the Denver Nuggets. I was absolutely surprised they got Cam Johnson. The Denver Nuggets are trading Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 2032 first round pick. Again, 2032 is about, oh goodness, 7 years away from now. So Jokic is going to be gone by then. He's going to be 37 if he's still playing. He's going to be done by then. Jamal Murray is going to be gone by then. We don't know what that pick looks like. The Denver Nuggets could be tanking. We don't know. Traded that for Cam Johnson. I like Cam Johnson, man. They needed that kind of player. I know what Cam Johnson's game looks like, but I still want to pull up the stats, man. He is such a huge, huge upgrade over someone who doesn't play defense in Michael Porter Jr. 6'8" guy, 29 years old, plays decent defense, at least a lot better than Michael Porter Jr. Averaged 18 points this past season. Good free throw shooter and 89%. And so it's not like you're just getting someone that plays defense and can't score, can't hit his free throws, or can't shoot the three, right? On 7.2 attempts, he shot 39%. And again, this is on the Brooklyn Nets team that doesn't have a lot of offense outside of him and Cam Johnson. So with the amount of attention that Jokic and Jamal Murray will be attracting, that's a really, really good piece to get. And they weren't done there because I did see they got someone else. Honestly, I'm giving this trade an A plus for the Denver Nuggets. You got the OKC Thunder, who are obviously just absolutely amazing, and they needed someone like this. Cam Johnson is such a good fit. I'm giving this an A plus for the Denver Nuggets. For the Nets, I'm probably giving it like a B minus just because they went from asking for like 3 first-round picks, and I know unprotected pick is huge, but still, it felt like they should have got more when they did trade him. But hey, decent gift for the Nets team. Free agent Ty Jerome, leaving the Cleveland Cavaliers, huge loss for them. He was a great bench piece for them. Has agreed to a 3-year, $28 million deal with the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies just always get, I don't want to call him a random player. Ty Jerome is not a random player by any means, but it just seems like they always get these like role players that can shoot the 3-point ball and just do these kind of things. It just a typical like Memphis Grizzlies type of team, right? That would get him 3-year, $28 million deal. So about nine-ish, a little over $9 million per season. That's not bad at all. And with a player option in year 3. So again, I like Ty Jerome, a decent signing. I'd probably give this a B here for the Grizzlies, and just a good deal overall. All right, free agent Kevin Porter agreed to a 2-year, $11 million deal. Kevin Porter is hot and cold. I know he can get his baskets, but he doesn't really do anything else. Could have signed him to a little bit less, just considering what a lot of like lower tier role players were going with. I'd probably give this a C plus. Not a great signing. All right, this is the one I really like. Free agent Bruce Brown agreed to a 1 year deal with the Denver Nuggets. They're bringing back Bruce Brown. He fits in with their system so well, and Bruce Brown's bounced on 3 teams now from the Indiana Pacers, who he signed that big contract with, to the Toronto Raptors, of course, and the Pelicans as well. So I'm really happy for both. I'm probably giving this a B plus plus. If I'm almost tempted to give it an A minus. Look, they're probably just not going to be paying him a ton. A 1 year deal is a very good deal for the Denver Nuggets. And Bruce Brown's going to be on a team where, he won a championship, but also just where he can kind of feed off of Jokic's pass, because he's that type of player that they really, really need. So I'm giving this a minus, a really nice deal. Again, we don't know the money, but a really nice deal to bring him back. Free agent center Kevon Looney has agreed to a 2 year, $16 million with the New York Pelicans. A little bit rich, man. A little bit rich. Like, what does the Pelicans roster look like? They have Yves Missy. They drafted Derek Queen, who's kind of a power forward, not really a center, if you ask me. I'd probably give this like a C minus. Not a great deal. I understand that, like, obviously you don't want to be dependent on a rookie to play the center position, especially not Derek Queen, guys. Let's be honest. He's not a center. He's not a good defensive one either if they do play him in that position. So I get this deal for the Pelicans. I'm going to give this like a C plus. Decent deal, not a great deal, but hey, maybe they play him enough minutes where his stats look good, where he looks good. It could turn into a B plus. Who knows? All right, guys. So let's go on to some of the other deals. Now, this is the weirdest one for me. I don't know if you guys found this to be really weird. Free agent. I actually thought this was Luke Kennard because I was listening to a live stream when I was driving home from work today. Free agent center Luke Cornett has agreed to a 4 year deal, 41 million deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Like, come on. Like, what are the Spurs doing here? Like, I think what the Spurs are doing, obviously, they need a big center, but also when you look at what does that equate to, around 10.3 million deal approximately per season. They need a bigger salary to throw into trade. So do keep that in mind. This isn't just about Luke Cornett. This is someone you could potentially trade for a Giannis situation. Now they got a lot of money added to one player, which they can fail to match salary. So not a great deal. I mean, Luke Cornett's like a third string center, and you're paying him $10.7 million. That's way too rich. I'm giving this like a C. I'm tempted to almost give this a D, guys. I'm going to give it a C minus. Not a good deal for the Spurs, but I think they're keeping in mind that Giannis could potentially ask out, and that's when they'll trade a bigger salary like Luke Cornett. All right, free agent Clint Capella has agreed to a 3 year, $21.5 million deal, so about $7.15 million deal to go to the Houston Rockets. So he returns to a Houston Rockets team in which he was with James Harden. I was listening to a live stream here as well. It doesn't make sense. You got Steven Adams there, you got Alperen Sengun. Unless they know something about Steven Adams, which we don't, like with his whole knee issues that he has. But then again, the issue, like if Steven Adams has got such an injury and you re-sign him to a big deal, I don't know. Again, could it be one of those situations where like you wanted to kind of add a little bit of money to role players? So if someone does become a not free agent, but a target for you via trade, you kind of throw this big money in there. I'm giving this almost a D, guys. I don't like this deal. It's not that the money is a lot for Clint Capella. It's just okay. I'm gonna upgrade that to a C. Actually, it's not a great deal. It's not a terrible deal, but it just doesn't make sense with the team. Free agent Karis LeVert has agreed to a 2 year deal, 29 million deal to go to the Detroit Pistons. Now this is about $14.5 million, a decent amount of money you're giving Karis LeVert. You could probably go a little bit lower, but the Pistons probably have to pay more to get free agents as well. That's rich, man. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for an injury-prone player, but they kind of have to. I mean, what other choice do the Pistons have? They lost potentially going to lose Malik Beasley, which they're not going to re-sign because he's got gambling scandals going on. So Karis LeVert 2 year. I'm giving this like a C plus. It's a little bit too much money for me, but I do understand why they get him. He he can create in isolation. He can score. He can shoot the 3-point ball as well. So I like it. It's not a bad deal. It's not a terrific one. I know they really need a player like Karis LeVert, so I'm giving this like a C plus plus. Free agent center Brooke Lopez agreed to a 2 year, $18 million deal with the Clippers. Really, Lopez? Come on. I know you're not a starting center at this point of your career, but you're telling me you couldn't have gone elsewhere? Like I don't like the Lakers like most of you guys, but you would have gotten a starting gig there, man. And you're playing with Luka and LeBron. You're getting passes all day, every day. And now you're going to be the backup for Zubac, where you're probably getting like 10, 15 minutes a game. My guess is he probably wants to go ring chasing, guys. He's so, nah, I shouldn't say he's so old. The guy's like 4 or 5 years older than I am. But it just feels weird when we talk about NBA players being like 38, or whatever the case is. Like he's 37, 38. So $18 million, not too rich. Honestly, I like it for the Clippers. You get a stretch big man. It gives you different skill sets than what Zubac has. And look, I honestly like it. I'm going to give this a B minus. For Brook Lopez, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but we got Luca going to the Boston Celtics. Luca Garza, that is. Center Luca Garza agrees to a 2-year, $5.5 million deal. It's going to be one of those Luke Cornett type of signings where they play him maybe like 10 minutes a game. Honestly, a decent deal. Nothing really game changing. I'm probably going to give this like a C plus. Nothing game changing here. Again, a decent deal. Doesn't make too much money here. This is the one I like. Nikhil Alexander Walker has agreed to a 4-year, $62 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. So that equates to about 15 point, I want to say $15.4 million deal. Approximately like $15.3.5 million, 15.35. A deal for Nikhil Alexander Walker, who is obviously a hot name on the market. Deals with the Atlanta Hawks. I like this trade. I like this trade for the Atlanta Hawks. It's actually a sign and trade, guys. Atlanta is sending a 2027 second round pick via Cleveland and cash to Minnesota to acquire Nikhil Alexander Walker via sign and trade. So I like this deal for the Atlanta Hawks, man. They need defense around Trae Young. Anytime you have Trae Young, you need defense. Nikhil Alexander, we've seen what he can do in the playoffs. He can play defense. He can really just irritate you with his long arms and just overall his frame as well. I want to see how, like, I keep forgetting, is he 6'7" or is he 6'9"? Nikhil. All right, let's see. Where are you, Nikhil? So if he's, I keep forgetting. I think he's, oh, he's not even 6'7". Oh, geez, he's only 6'5". You got to be kidding. He plays a lot bigger than his size, and he's 26 years old. So it's not like he's aging. Averaged 9 points last season with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's been there for a while. Shot the three-point ball at 38% on 4.5 attempts per game. That's great. You need spacing around Trae Young when he's attacking the basket. Just spacing in today's NBA. Average 2.7 assists. He's not going to average that many assists, especially now with Trae Young having the ball majority of the times, but also just Dyson Daniels as well. They've done a great job, man. They've done a great job, the Atlanta Hawks, of just adding a lot of defense around Trae Young. Someone mentioned this online as well. You got Dyson Daniels there. You got, Jalen Johnson who can play defense. Now you add Nikhil Alexander Walker. That's a steal. That's a really good deal, only for a 2027 second round pick, and that's not even your own. That's Cleveland's. I'm going to give this an A plus for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's not a great return. I'm giving that a C minus. At least ask for another pick, man. Like, come on. All right, Tyus Jones is the one now we're talking about. Signed, has agreed to a 1-year, $7 million deal with the Orlando Magic. I really, really like this deal. They needed a point guard. They needed someone that can kind of play the backup point guard position in Jalen Suggs. And I don't know if Jalen Suggs will be ready for the start of the season. I'm giving this a B plus. I really like this deal. Tyus Jones didn't have the season he expected to have in Phoenix. But hey, man, you're getting guard minutes right there. You can facilitate, you can shoot the three. I like this deal. I'm giving this a B for the Orlando Magic. A great deal. Now, this is a funny trade, not a trade signing. Nigel Hayes Davis, and I'm not hating on the young man. I hope he has success in the NBA career, but 2025 EuroLeague champion and finals MVP, as well as Turkish Cup champion and MVP, has agreed to a fully guaranteed 1-year deal with the Phoenix Suns. So I need to see what his stats look like before I kind of see what, Nigel Hayes Davis stats. Let's look at his stats. It better be like ground breaking because, clearly this man has won MVP. So he's probably killing it down there. So no, this can't be the same guy. No. This is not the same guy. Oh, what? Okay, so he's saying he's a point guard. He's 6'8", but no, Nigel Hayes, unless he changed his name when he was down there. But I gotta look at his other stats here. These are showing me when he last played in the NBA, and that's why I felt like he played with the Raptors too. Over here showing, but I don't think this is the same guy. Let me have a look at his other stats here to kind of see if this is the same. And y'all let me know if any sort of signings have happened. I'm kind of just going through the deals as they have gone throughout the day. I haven't gotten the chance to look at all of them. I was at work all day, so I'm grading them as I go. I'm giving you my thoughts as I go. So, okay, so what? 10 points. Okay, this is all time. Let's see his stats last season. So he averaged, come on, give me not total stats. I want points per game. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is showing me 2018, 2019. Huh, why am I having trouble finding Nigel Hayes' stats? Mm, unless they just don't have it anywhere. I'm trying to figure. Okay, so over here showing 13.9 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal a game. Uh yeah, it's just giving me my game. Okay, so European stats. Okay, there we go. Okay, so last season, I guess he played in the EuroLeague and he averaged 16.7 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 1.7 assists, shot the ball 45.6%, 41% from the three. Okay, that's nice. And got you 1.1 steal a game, 1.1 turnover. So nothing groundbreaking. I'm going to say, look, I'm not going to sit there and act like I know his game. Most people don't. For the time being, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Maybe I'd say like a C plus. You could probably have one of those impacts that can surprise a lot of people. But this is the one I like for the Atlanta Hawks. It's a little bit too much, too rich for me, if you ask me. Free agent sharpshooter Luke Kennard has agreed to a 1 year, $11 million deal with the Atlanta Hawks. Sources tell ESPN. I'm gonna give this like a C plus plus very cautiously because it's only a 1 year deal. 11 million is a lot, but apparently Shams Charania tweeted out that Hawk star Trey Young reached out to Kennard and Nikhil Alexander Walker this evening to help recruit them to the franchise. Sources says two big wing gets. I wouldn't call Luke Kennard a wing. He's what, like Luke Kennard? He's what, 6'6", 6'7"? So I guess you could technically call him or 6'5". Yeah, so he's 6'5" here. I wouldn't call him a wing. He's more of a shooting guard. I guess you can call that a wing. But he last season with the Memphis Grizzlies, 8.9 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists per game. Shot the ball. Oh my goodness. Holy. Okay. I changed my mind, guys. Now I know why teams just love him. Like I feel like maybe he was a little bit underrated because he played for the Grizzlies, but wow. This is insane. 43% for 4 attempts per game. If you think that's a fluky season, go back to the previous season where he shot 45% on 6.1 attempts per game. If you think that's fluky, go back to the previous season where he shot on 5.7 attempts, 54% from the 3-point line. This guy's just insane. And his free throw percentage the last 3 seasons, starting from last season, 89%, 88%, and 94.7%. Again, very limited free throws, but still, clearly this guy just shoots lights out. Okay, I'm gonna regrade this a little bit. I'm giving this like a B minus, even maybe a B plus. Again, 11 million's a decent amount, but if you need that, you need that. You know what? So that's a pretty underrated signing. All right, free agent center. I can't stop laughing at this, guys. No offense. How is Mason Plumlee still in the NBA? I mean, the funny enough thing is I genuinely can't remember the last team he played for. I felt like it was like the Suns, and I don't even know who he played with last. Oh, he was with the Suns last season. Yeah, so he didn't. I don't want to make fun of anyone, guys. That's okay. So decent. 17 minutes. He averaged 4.5 points per game,